And the reason that we know this is because Americans' household debt just hit brand new record levels on pretty much all fronts. And I was expecting this to happen. I've been kind of watching these reports pretty closely over the past 2 years. I have been talking about every single time consumer debt levels, especially credit card debt, hits new record highs, because it's important to pay attention to. It shows us what people are experiencing right now and what's happening in the real economy. But Americans' household debt, which includes mortgages, car loans, credit cards, and student loans, are all now at new record highs. I mean, how is that a good thing? I mean, it's a good thing in terms of like GDP and expanding the economy. That's probably why those numbers still look pretty healthy, right? But it's really bad news for people who are actually taking this debt on, because it means that their ship is sinking. Unlike these boats that are sitting here floating just fine, a lot of people's boats have a hole or two in it and are on their way down to the bottom of the ocean. Total household debt reached 18.59 trillion from July through September of this year, which is up by 197 billion from the previous quarter. And overall debt levels are up by 4.4 trillion just since the end of 2019, right before the pandemic. So think about that. People's personal debt levels have gone up almost $4.5 trillion in the past 6 years. That is wild. Student loan debt just hit a new record high at 1.65 trillion. And at the same time, a lot more borrowers are missing their payments, and nearly 10% of all student debt was reported at least 90 days delinquent or more. And chances are, if it's that late, those people probably are not going to be able to catch up and pay. Otherwise, they probably would have already, unless it's a strategic default and they're still hoping for some sort of student loan forgiveness. But regardless of what they're doing, this is a guarantee that their credit score is going to get hammered by missing these payments, because that's how it works now. There's actually real world consequences to not paying your bills, unlike what we saw during the pandemic. If you don't pay, it's going to go against you now. And you know, they're always looking for excuses and reasons why all this bad economic data really isn't this bad. Here's a funny one. This will get you laughing here. They say student loan delinquencies are at a record high, but auto loan and credit card delinquencies are not as high as they were in the middle of 2024. So, well, that's great. You know, things have improved and people are paying their bills at a slightly higher rate than they were a year ago, at least when it comes to those things. So nothing to worry about here. But the credit card balances, man, they just keep going up. And we know people are using that to survive right now, paying for things that they really can't afford, even just, you know, buying regular everyday survival essentials like groceries and household items, because Americans' outstanding credit card balances increased by another $24 billion to 1.23 trillion in the third quarter of this year. That's a new record high, and it's up over 6% compared to just 1 year ago. I mean, when you look at it just through that frame of mind right there, that the credit card debt, just one form of debt, forget about the mortgage debt, the auto loan debt, and even the student loan debt, forget about all of that, and just focus on the credit card debt and see that just that one is up 6% year over year. How many people got a 6% year over year raise in the last year? My guess is probably very few. And the ones who didn't are the ones who are responsible for this increase in the debt.